before Christmas, Santa-in-laws got me a pressure fermenter, a vessel that's perfect for making lagers, except I'm not really good at making lagers. One time I had an IPL, an Indian Pale Lager, so today I'm going to try and recreate something that apparently, according to Google, does not exist. For the grain bill, I'm using 4 different malt barleys. Start with 50%. Maybe I could get like a thing with a background and it's all moving and stuff. And then it's like 50% Maris Otter, 50% light Munich. Get it up to 1.05 gravity. From there, add in biscuit and the other one, type 2 caramel, and that'll get it up to 1.06. Get your 14 litres of water. I use tap water because I'm lazy. I've never used Maris Otter or biscuit before, so I'm very excited kind of to what the malt flavors I get out of this beer are. And hopefully I don't cover them up too much with the hoppiness. There we go. We're gonna start with a strike temperature of 62 degrees. From 62 degrees, we've come down to 60, okay, we've lost 2 degrees, so we're gonna let this sit for 15 minutes at 60 degrees, and I'm gonna boost it up to 68. Now, while this is mashing, you'll see forming behind me is all the new things that I get to sanitize. That is my pressure fermenter. No pressure. For our IPL, we're gonna be using 3 hops. I've decided to go with Pacific Jade, Sabro, and Citra, because I've never used Citra before. Get some Citra just in here. Should smell super citrusy. Taste-wise, gotcha. I've eaten enough hops in my time. We're aiming for a lot more fruit-driven flavors instead of piney and resiny flavors for this IPL. I'm gonna be boiling for an hour. The last half an hour, I'm gonna add in 10 grams of Sabro, and then the last 10 minutes, I'm gonna add in 5 grams of Pacific Jade and 5 grams of Citra. Oh, that smells like actual pineapple. Sabro smells like pineapple. That's juicy. 13 pages of instructions for the pressure boy. Do you just like look at it and you're like, yeah, I'll just figure it out. Let's go through what was in the box for my pressure fermenter. We've got the fermenter. We've got a lid, a thing with handles, a doohickey valve. I'm assuming they're more handles. Sealy things that go on the end of. Actually, that one's different. I don't know what that's for. Pipe. Float, I'm guessing, and a non-sucky up particles thing. Rubber seals, the thing that goes bloop, and the yeast. What's this called? The yeast catcher. Hey, these are just like bottle lids. Who's the bottle lid? So if I ever lose that, good to know. And then on the lid, I've got a thing that goes. Oh Lord. Now that I've gone through what I've got, let's put it all together. Oh, I'm gonna have to read the instructions, aren't I? I've just chucked my burner back on. That's gonna get up to 72 degrees for the last 10 minutes of the mash. Dude, putting this together is getting daunting real quick. Got a handle on it, so now I can take it to my friend's house, which is pretty good. I'm now realizing I probably should have set up the fermenter before I started brewing. I also now have to remove my grain, but I don't have an oven rack anymore to rest it on. Wish my arms good luck. That shit's hot. The fan's in the way. Ah! Do I do it on the floor and risk melting the floorboards? Upon further investigation of actually reading the instructions, apparently I don't need a whirlpool. So if I just put my hops straight into the kettle, once I've put it in there and it cools down, essentially I can dump it into the hop dump and Bob's your uncle. So I might add some whirlpool. I haven't added whirlpool flock in ages, so I might add some flocculants if I can dump it after it's settled. Add my yeast and voila! I placed my temperature gauge up way too high because I'm doing small batch brewing. I was like, oh yeah, I'll move it. So what I did instead was actually completely accidentally destroy it. Thanks. Hopefully, once I've chilled my wort, I'll put my wort in, let that all settle down the bottom, give it the old release whatever's in there, essentially I should remove the trub with all the hop pellets and stuff like that, and I can add my yeast and we're good to go. So the good news is it's not leaking, which I'd say is pretty good news. So literally I've grabbed one of the caps off somewhere else, sealed that up. I ended up filling it up through the butterfly valve, and now I just hit it with the old sanitization, and there doesn't seem to be any liquid coming out anywhere. And just to dump that water, I just have to turn the valve on. But at least the inside of my fermenter's clean. That's important. I'm gonna let that boil for half an hour, and then that's when I'm gonna start adding in my Sabro. How to set it up is way easier than I thought. So you put your butterfly clamp on with the latchy clamp. Done, easy as. With your lid, you're gonna get a red one and a yellow one. Literally just twist them on. The yellow one, essentially, once you put gas or a gas connector to it, you can fill it up with CO2. And then with this one, essentially what happens as soon as that connects on it, it allows pressure to come out into your pressure valve, and that'll control the PSI of what it is. At least it was somewhat easy to set up after I stopped reading the instructions. Reading the instructions honestly made it so complicated. 13 pages can get the lot. I don't know if there's a difference between the red and the yellow, but essentially what I've done, I've put a red one on here, attached this pipe with the filter and the floater, so it'll sit in the beer itself, and then I can essentially, I've turned it into a little, well, I'm sure you're meant to keg it anyway, but how am I meant to get the beer out? Because I've always, like with a bottle and you've put the thing, I think I'm gonna have to get a CO2 tank. I didn't even think about that. Also, it said to pressure test it before I use it. No, it's just, I'll risk it. Are you as surprised as I am? Because I'm glad it's not on my floor. I don't feel like I'm mopping. The gravity I was aiming for was 1.06. I've got 1.052. So, that's off just a little bit, but that's okay. But I reckon this is just about separated enough. I'll do a little Trub Dump. I'll do a little Trub Dump and add in my yeast. Surprisingly, even though I broke the speedometer, it still works, which is good. 30 degrees it's at the moment, and then I can add in my yeast. You can see the separation is pretty prominent, hopefully a little bit longer, and then I've now realized I meant to keep this open because as soon as those bubbles shot up, it just mixed it all together again. Oops. I think next time I'm gonna use a hop stock instead, because this Trub Dump method has not worked at all. Like, yes, all that is in there, but it's still up into the top as well. And I've left it for nearly an hour and it's still just, there's no way any more is coming out of that. So what I'm gonna do is seal that off and add in my yeast. It's got a pretty good seal on it. I'll give it that much. It looks like a child is thrown up all over me. I'm going with a Californian lager yeast. The reason I've chosen this one is because it said lager yeast on it. Literally no other reason. I've got my pressure valve on as loosely as possible, so as soon as it starts to ferment, it should be letting the CO2 out very quickly, and then I can slightly tighten it and create pressure, and then hopefully it doesn't blow up. Hopefully this works out well, because I generally find anytime I accidentally leave hops in while it's fermenting, the beer honestly tastes like dirt. So while fermenting, essentially I had to learn very quick. Yellow means gas, red means liquid, and when you attach the spunding valve to the pipe that's in there, you lose about 2 liters of beer on the floor. Good job, Corey. While I was off camera, because I didn't want to look like a complete moron while doing this, I took my CO2 tank and tried to refill this up to about 10 PSI, and what happened instead was I actually blew the pipe off inside. So I'm gonna have to open that to get the pipe to get the beer out. Oxygen's gonna get introduced at some point, and it's not gonna be a closed transfer into the keg. I went and bought a keg, by the way. I've decided to go with a pet keg. which means I'm going to be doing a lot more beer in the future, which is more for me. Happy days. Hands nice and sanitized. I'm going to get this off, that's the real question. Okay, the pipe is reconnected. So I don't mess it up again, I'm going to turn that into the gas. Yellow is gas. From here, gas goes into yellow, liquid comes out to red, red goes into red. What I need to do is essentially release the gas. But my theory is there's CO2 in there, so as I release it, what it's going to do is push oxygen out instead. Hopefully this doesn't explode, my fiance gets really mad at me. This process should start as I untwine the spunding valve. I'm messing with a lot of CO2 gas, hopefully I just don't knock myself out. Very important as well. It's working. Somebody come get her, she's dancing like a stripper. Okay, so for the last step, now I just need to pump gas into the keg. I'm doing about 12 PSI because Google said so. Oh golly. It is a little bit carbonated. I hope that doesn't affect the gravity reading. Actually smells pretty good. Probably gonna be wrong because it's got CO2 gas in it, but I'm gonna give it a spin anyway. I can't see past the foam. Well, if you read it by the foam, it's exactly 0, so I've got water. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the head retention is too good. My guess is that it's 1.01. It's done well in the ferment, if that's correct. A lot of learning's been done. Gonna put that in the fridge, give it about 2-3 days. It's only 7 litres. Hopefully it tastes better cold. When I was drinking it, I completely forgot I actually had to record before I drank it all, and that's all I've got left. I think the one thing that surprised me about this the most is how sweet it actually turned out. Like it has a really strong toffee caramelly smell to it. Even the taste isn't too hoppy. The taste itself is quite earthy, but I still think it's quite nice. It's got a subtle sweetness to it. It's not actually very lagery. It's quite just tastes like biscuits. It's very biscuity. It's about as dark as I wanted to get it, and it's actually worked out quite well. I'm definitely going to try pressure fermenting again, except this time I'm actually going to learn how to use it properly. But if you want some actual advice on how to do something, this video here is going to help you out greatly. So click along, see you soon. Cheers, bye. Salud.